that it has not come through our solar system before, that he went with 60 instead of 6. And that's how you get the 360, and that's been, everybody grabbed onto that. But there was no hard data because zeros did not exist. You have no information to plot its orbit. There's no documented, what I'm talking about evidence, I'm talking about what day, time, and place on Earth that it was seen, what constellation, what radius, what direction of travel, what's the brightness of it, and was it by any known stars, and what angle from that known star. The only one to give us that type of detailed information is the Chinese, Japanese, and Korean records. Their astronomy goes back just a few hundred years after Noah's flood. That's how far their astronomy goes. Now, are they motivated on doing the work correctly? It was documented that 2 astronomers were caught at their post sleeping, and it was reported to the emperor. The emperor cut their heads off because he wanted reliable data of all comets and all happenings in the sky. Because it was, to them, it was a very real threat, because this comet changes the weather pattern. Well, this planet, when it gets close enough, it'll have a tail.
So it is like a planet comet, actually.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. It does not meet our present terms. This is going to be called a brand new object in a way. It does not meet the full definition of a planet, and it's too big for the known comets. So they'll have to come up with a whole new category. That's why there's plausible, it's a deniability by the politician to be politically correct. You ask them, what about this planet? They'll say, what planet? There is no planet approaching. Well, then if you say what comet, they still say none. They changed the definition of a planet in, I think it was 208 or 206, somewhere in there. Since then, unless you knew the new terms that they're going to use for it, you will not be able to corner them because it's politically not correct, as far as the terms used. But this object does not meet the definition of what they define as a planet today. Now, what's interesting on that, they have a problem, because it says that one of the other cannot be a planet if it crosses another known planet's orbit. Well, this thing crosses Earth's path twice. So which one they going to disqualify, Earth or it, as a planet? This thing is 7 times our diameter. They always give an excuse if it's smaller than and it crosses, therefore it cannot be. But this one's bigger. So they have a problem with their definition. They're going to have to change something. They have to add something for this object because the data is different. The data, this is a brand new object that does not meet present definitions. And any astronomers out there, if they wish, if they were to get the white paper report, as I stated earlier, and they can plot it also. They can plot the orbital path of this and verify anything that I'm saying. I put all of the information on my YouTube channel, the calculations, the representative models of each one of these incidents. And there's an interesting saying there. Like someone is saying is, how do you define science? A lot of people say the Bible doesn't meet scientific principle. That's not true anymore, or maybe never has. I'm just saying that it does now. The answer for what science is was defined in astrophysics. It says if you can take a paranormal phenomenon into the laboratory and show that it's repeatable, there's a word for that. They call it science. Well, we have multiple eyewitness accounts that we can literally build models with now. And it proves out their comments that they experienced and witnessed. And that is impossible for the time period. They had no concept of Kepler's laws of planetary motion or the forces ruling the universe. For them to get this that accurate as they claimed in the Bible is impossible. They saw a real object that caused real events for the time period. And I hope I answered your question.
Could this be the same object that is referred to as Herculebus? And
yes,
I believe there was a scientist named Ferrara from South America that he talked about it before anybody even heard about anything related to this object. And the interesting thing that I bring him up, and the reason I'm bringing him up is because he's the first one I ever heard call this object a planet comet.
He is the closest because he's using actual planetary physics. Mm-hmm. He's not using hearsay. He is trying to produce a model, but he was still lacking data to get his model accurate. But his claim of this being a comet planet, absolutely right on. He's the first one to do it, and he's absolutely correct. This is what the data is proving.
Yeah, this is definitely something we have never seen before. And now the question probably that a lot of people are asking out there, okay, that are listening to us tonight, the question they're probably asking is, well, if this object comes around every 319 through 20 through 324, around that orbit of about 324 years, how come we haven't seen any destruction, let's say, in the last 400 years? We haven't heard of any destructions or any tidal waves of such, or any earth-shaking events that are recorded. How come we haven't seen that? So
well,
how would you
actually there is some events that are misrecorded. We just never labeled it to this coming through our solar system. See, if Earth, the only time it gets close to Earth, if Earth is in the position of the month of Passover, which is March or April, when it's made its round around the sun, and it's also in the month of March or April. That's when it comes close. That's when it's the most severe. And it's happened Earth has tilted in its orbit when it's passed, because it's like two magnets attracted to each other. The poles start to tilt. I have documented, I think, close to 4 times that Earth has tilted 26 to 28 degrees in its past. And
now, was this a gradual tilt? Gill, was this a gradual tilt or a sudden tilt when it last tilted?
There's no definite data, but through the models, looking at it, we can do a rough approximation. It's between, the tilt would take anywhere from 3 to 5 hours coming in and another 3 to 5 hours going out. The tilt would reverse itself. Now, if you're 90 degrees from the axis of tilt, the wind's 90 degrees from that tilt, you're looking at approximately, I believe you're covering almost 2,000 miles of Earth's surface within 26 to 28 degrees. So you're looking anywhere from 500-mile-an-hour winds to 300-mile-an-hour winds. The Arctic Circle would reach Washington, D.C. area. If 90 degrees to the tilt was the west coast of Greenland, from my last calculations, according to what Revelation is talking about, the pivot point is going to be around Jerusalem on its tilt. Therefore, 90 degrees from that tilt gives you the west coast of Greenland. And if it tilts 26, 28 degrees, you're looking at the Arctic Circle temporarily coming down as far as Washington, D.C. at 200 to 300 mile an hour winds, or maybe as high as 500. You're looking at things being flash frozen. Now, has that happened in the past? Yes. We found frozen mammoths with subtropical plants in their mouths, like daisies and such, that this mammoth did not even have time to swallow, and he was flash frozen.
Right. Yeah, I have read those events. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. There's been no explanation of it. Now we have one. We have the model that can prove this. Remember, what is science? You can bring a phenomenon into the laboratory and make a model, and that proves it out and it's repeatable. That's science. We have one. This object is what's been doing this. This is what caused this, the mini ice age, because Earth tilt changes. In other words, if it tilts 26 to 28 degrees, well, when it comes back, the continents have shifted some. The continents can be shifted as much as 7 to 14 degrees, according to the past records. Well, if you're 14 degrees closer, guess what? You got a mini ice age. That means the temperature of Canada is now in the mid area of the U.S. and vice versa, and so on. So
do you think
drastic
do you think, Gill, that
climate.
This may be? I just want to interrupt you quickly here. And do you think this is maybe what is going on right now with this Arctic blast of cold air that is coming down, and nobody has an explanation for this?
It's changing. Our magnetic north is moving at I forgot how many times greater. Let's see. I don't remember at the moment, but it's like 30, 40 times its normal speed, moving towards a little bit to the west of the North Pole, looking from the U.S., okay? And that's alarming. It's never did that. Well, we think it's